this digital era pivot. And that was really spearheaded by M- Mark Parker. And Mark Parker, it's fine that they did this. And I think that there was just an overcorrection with people wanting to have a direct relationship and a closer relationship with their customer and owning that brand relationship to make sure that they control the messaging, the experience, the shipping. And they probably got some kind of reports they'd get from people complaining that third party or wholesalers, they didn't care about the customer and it affected the image of Nike more than did the brand. I could see how they spun it, whatever type of way. You can get that perspective. But the problem was they overcorrected and they went all in. They said consumer direct offense is what they called it. And they attacked it viciously and they went fully direct. And they exited quite a few of their wholesale relationships, which really the wholesale relationships were the reason why Nike was successful in the first place. Nike was always perpetually never had any cash. They're pretty much floating their balance. They were overdrafting. They never had enough cash. They threw it all into growth. And the one thing that really cemented them as an innovative company at the time for consumer product was their futures, Nike futures. Nike's futures were wholesaler agreements with Nike to get a 7% discount off of what normally would cost to purchase at a wholesale market rate if you purchase 6 months in advance. If you had 6 months in advance orders, then you could then take that to the bank and say, hey, I've got all these guaranteed orders. I've already got the cash. Let's raise more money. But that relationship over time, as we see now, was seen as unimportant. And that's a critical misstep. So they go all in. The new CEO, John Donahoe, goes all in on this direct to consumer and they make it very aggressive. It was already a big initiative by the company and it did increase their stock price. But what happens during COVID, if you don't have a resiliency within your distribution and your customer base and how you're accessing that customer, which is otherwise known as omni-channel, then you could run into issues if something unexpected happens, like COVID. So when COVID happened, they had a massive inventory that they couldn't get rid of. They got rid of their presence in wholesale markets. And so they weren't in Foot Locker and these other brick and mortar stores. And they took up a considerable amount of retail space. And you think about Nike, you think about basketball, football, running. And if you just remove that from the equation, something needs to fill the void. An opportunity gets created, an opportunity for other brands that typically wouldn't have been able to get space. There was a big void and someone needed to fill it. Then there was margin decay because there's just all these hidden costs that they didn't think about. Whereas wholesale is guaranteed, they pay for it, they handle all the other stuff. Whereas Nike was taking on all the other unknown stuff that they didn't know about. And this is similar in insurance, where if you wanted to go direct to customer, the customer may not know what data they need to provide. They don't understand the insurance policy. You've got to find the customer, you've got to acquire the customer, and then you've got to remarket to the customer. And you've got to do all of that. Those are dynamic costs. There is no understanding of what it does or doesn't cost. You've got to determine that yourself. Whereas if you have a wholesale relationship, you know what things cost. And if you flip it back to insurance, if you have a agency relationship, you know what it costs because it's a fixed fee, it's commission, similar to a wholesale market in this example. So with this opportunity that was created by the void, other companies filled the space.